Hello and welcome back to the channel, and in this video I am going to show you how to build and explain a little bit about the 3-hook clipped boom rig. So I've got it here on my front door here hanging up, and you can see the lead weight there. Now this is about 1.5 meters long, this rig, and as you can see it's all clipped down. So what I've done is I've pinned it in at the top here just to show you. So we've got a link clip at the top there, and it comes down the rig body line, and as you can see there we have got a couple of beads with the boom clipped down, and it's got a spring underneath it to keep tension. There are no crimps on this rig at all. I've just got figure of 8 knots. So we've got a figure of 8 knot at the top above the red bead, and a figure of 8 knot at the bottom under the spring holding that in place. So I don't like to use crimps because they can really damage the line, and they damage the line if they're done incorrectly, and you could do that just by accident. They're going to damage the line a lot more than these figure of 8 knots. So there it is, the first snood. It clips down there with that hook, size 1/0, onto the second boom, which again clips down nicely against the line. There's my letterbox. Hope the postman doesn't come as I'm doing this. To the third hook, which you can just see there, and then that clips all the way down to the bottom onto an imp by the lead. So this rig is really useful for targeting flatfish, getting your 3 hooks towards the seabed, keeping them down onto the seabed, and it's good for targeting smaller species. So what I'm going to do now is show you exactly what you need to build this rig, and then show you how I put it together. To build this rig, you're going to need some material for your rig body, for your main line through the rig. This is what I'm using. It is Cinetic Mimetic, and this is 60 pound 0.70mm fluorocarbon. Now please check out that video there. It's my good friend Aaron talking about fluorocarbons and why it's an advantage to use fluorocarbon instead of mono in all of your rigs. So this is what I'm going to use for the rig body. This is £60. He's also got a shop as well on eBay where you can get a lot of this stuff through that shop. Anyway, there's my rig body. The next one I'm going to use here is again mimetic, and this is 0.31mm, so it's just over £20, 9.6 kilos. That is going to be for my hook lengths, and again fluorocarbon, and I'm going to use that for the hook lengths on this 3-hook boom rig. Then you're going to need the Gemini Genie rig system 150mm clip down booms. There we are, and that comes with the booms. It also comes with the springs, the beads and the crimps. I don't use the crimps. I don't like crimps on the line, so I tend to use a figure of 8 knot, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Once you've got them, you're going to need an imp. There we are. That goes at the bottom of the rig. There it is, with the 2 parts put together. You're going to need a link clip. There is a link clip for the top of the rig. We'll move these onto the table. 3 sequins, so we're using them as worm stops on the snoods, and then above those I'm going to tie some power gum. Yeah, there's a sliding stop knot, so we need some of that. Oh, and let's not forget the hooks. I'm using 1/0 Camisans on this, 3 of these. They would be quite an important part of this rig, so let's not forget them. And then tools, just need a pair of scissors or cutters to cut the line, and then I'm going to use a rig puller on this. So let's get down to building this rig. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cut a length of rig body. So with this I am going to cut a length that is approximately 1.5 meters long. So I've just taken that out, and we will cut that there. Done. And then on one end of this, the first thing I'm going to do is tie the imp straight on to this fluorocarbon. And I'm doing that with a uni knot. And because this is quite thick, 0.70, I can do that with a 3 turn. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to moisten this and then pull it tight. There we go, rig puller helping. Pull that nice and tight and we'll cut that tag end off there. So the next thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to come up the line about 30 centimeters and I'm going to tie a figure of 8 knot in the line here. So basically I bring this round like so. I'm coming over the top of the line. I'm then going under the line, back under the line, effectively creating a figure of 8, and I'm going to take this end through that loop like so. There you'll see figure of 8, pull that tight, and that's locked in the line. That's about 80% strength, 85% strength. Now that I use that because they're all about the same strength. If you over crimp a crimp, you could be halving or even doing more damage to the breaking strain of your line. So if you over crimp a crimp, you could severely hamper that rig and its effectiveness. At least with these figure of 8 knots, I know that this is still pretty much full strength. So that's that pull tight. The next thing I'm going to do is slide on one of the small springs that you get in the packet with your booms, with your click down booms. So I'm going to slide this onto the line and then we'll follow that with a small red bead that comes out of the packet as well. And that goes all the way down. That sits above that figure of 8 knot. So I've got the figure of 8 knot, the spring and the bead there. I'm then going to slide on one of the booms. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide on the boom, not with that bit pointing down like so. I'm going to have that bit, that hook clip there, bait clip, hook clip, facing up. So I'm going to take this rig body through the eye with that clip facing up. That will go all the way down to that spring with the bead, and then I'm going to slide on a second bead like so. So there we have it, figure of 8 knot with your spring, your bead, your boom, your bead. Now this is the tricky part. If you're going to use crimps, it's very easy. You want to have a slight bit of compression in this spring, which will then keep the boom standing off the rig. So a slight bit of compression there, you can see me moving my finger, keeps that boom standing off the rig. Now with a crimp, that's easy. You slide the crimp down, you can crimp it into place, not a problem. Figure of 8 knots, it's a little bit more difficult. So what I'm going to do, I'm pulling that right the way down, as you can see there, till it's nearly fully compressed. Then pinching the line above it so it doesn't move, like so. I'm then going to do a figure of 8 knot. And I'm just trying to get it through my fingers so I can get to it. And it's a little bit fiddly. I'm just trying to hold it with both fingers. There we go. So I've got the spring fully compressed there. Figure of 8 knot there, ready to be tightened. And what I'm going to do, before I do that, I'm going to place my fingers at the front of this loop here, this front part of the loop. And I'm going to hold that in place, like allowing this rig body to slide through it. So that will hold that figure of 8 knot in that place without it moving up the line too much. So I'm going to hold it there, pull this line tight. It will compress a little bit till it's that size. And then I can pull that tight. Like so. Now that spring is not fully compressed, but it's compressed enough to hold that boom straight off your rig body. It also gives it enough play to clip it down. There we go, like so. Got a lot of play on that. It'll be clipped down. And it's been done without any crimps at all. So now from here, I'm going to go up again, about 30 centimeters, and do the same with the second boom. There we go, there's the second one in place. Now we're going to do the third one and the booms are all in place on your main rig body. Right, so there we have it. We've got your imp at the base, ready to clip down the first hook snood. We've then got your first boom in place. Look at that, standing off the rig. Lovely, right angle. You've got your second one there at a right angle, and your third one there at a right angle. The last thing to do on this rig body is just to tie the link clip at the top of the rig, like so, with a uni knot. So very easy. 3 turns again, same as we did on the imp at the bottom. 3 turns on that, we pull it tight, and then with this and a little bit of moisture, we pull it like so. There we go, we cut that off, and then this rig body has been built. Right, so the next thing to do once you've got all your booms in place on your main rig body is to tie on some hook snoods. So here we go, I'm using the mimetic. What I'm going to do is leave it on the spool, and I'm basically going to tie on the end of this straight to the boom here. Now you can, if you wanted to, put them on via a clip so you can quickly change them over. Put ones with beads on or attractors, but I'm going to have these as fixed. And because this is a lot thinner, this line, I'm doing a 5 turn uni knot on this. 3 turn won't hold, so we do 5 turn on that, and that will hold a lot better. So we tighten that down like so. There we go. And basically what you want to do is you want to have enough line to go between that boom and the next boom down with a little bit of overlap. So I'm giving it about 4 inches past, and I'm going to cut that off just like so. And I'm going to cut the tag that comes off of the boom there, like so. So we've got the first bit of line, hook snood, tied to your first boom, uni knot there. I'm going to leave that open. I'm going to tie the next 2 on the next 2 booms, just so they overlap. This one will overlap the bottom boom, and the bottom boom will overlap the clip. So let's get that done now. Right, so now I've clipped this grip lead on the bottom. What I'm going to do is I am just going to put this grip lead over the edge of the table like so. There it is. Now I can put a little bit of pressure on this line. I'm then going to thread on a sequin onto that line as a worm stop, like so. I'm then going to thread on one of the hooks, like so. I'm then going to clip the hook into the imp, always keeping hold of the tag in, and pull this down until it's as tight as I want it, which is about there. That looks good. So then I'm going to pinch the eye of the hook where I want the knot to be, and I can unhook it. So I've got the hook snood pinched there in my fingers in the place that I want the knot to be. I'm then going to make sure I make a good enough crease in this line, so I'm just creasing this line in my finger. There we go, I've got a crease in that line there, so I'm going to take that off the hook. Now I'm going to tie a Palomar knot exactly where that crease is. So I'm going to fold this in half like so, put both ends of that loop through the eye of the knot. I'm then basically going to do an overhand knot here like so. Bring the whole hook through, and push this round, making sure that that crease is still in the middle. And I'll push that crease all the way up to the shank of the, or to where the eye meets the shank. So that crease is against the bottom of the eye of the hook. I can then pull the tag in and the rig tight, like so. Really tight. I can then just make sure that is completely tight and that that crease has gone up over the eye, so it's back onto the knot. There we go. I don't know if you can see that there. The knot has come over the eye and is all tied up there. I can then cut off the tag end. And what we're going to do is just test that that is in the right position. Here we go. We put that down there. And there we have it. Your first hook is clipped in place. The last thing to do on this snood is to do a sliding stop knot. So I'm going to take a bit of power gum, taking a 4-inch bit of power gum there, and I'm going to tie a sliding stop knot just above the sequin so it can be pushed up and down this snood. So you basically lie the line, the power gum against the line like so. You bring this tag end around to form a loop, and then you come inside all of the lines together 4 times. 2, 3, and 4. And we can pull that tight like so. Trim off the tags on there like so, and that can be slid down to just above where the worms stop. There we have it. Your first hook snood is done. We'll do exactly the same with the next two, but what you need to do, you need to keep this one clipped in place. Then once the first one is in place, we put the sequin on this second snood. We can then slide the hook on like so, put it in this clip, keep the rig body tight, pull the tag in until you're roughly in the place you want it to be, pinch it, unclip it, make sure you mark the line, tie a Palomar knot again here, stop knot on the line, do the same for the third, and then we'll have a finished rig. Right, there we have it in front of me, the completed rig. We will just clip this up to show you that it all works with these Palomar knots and with the figure of 8 knots. So we've got the bottom snood going in there like so. We can then move up and I can show you that the second snood there, hook snood, will clip down nicely there onto your first boom there, like so. And then what we've got, we'll just change the angle so it's against the white background. We've got my third boom that's just about here. It clips down nicely like so onto the third boom there. And there we have it. In front of me is the completed three hook clip boom rig. I hope this video has helped, and if it has, please tell me what you catch on this rig, and until next time, tight lines.